Today we are going to be talking about solubility of substance. Now, what is this solubility? Solubility of a solid substance in a liquid is the maximum amount or a mass of the substance which can dissolve in 1 dm cube of that solution at that particular temperature. Note, at that particular temperature, because solubility varies with increase in temperature or decrease in temperature. As the temperature increases, solubility changes. As temperature drops, solubility also tends to drop too, because there will be crystallization. As the temperature is dropping, there will be crystallization based on the kind of solid sample that is involved. So temperature is one of the factors that affect towards solubility. Another thing that can affect solubility is also the nature of the solute, as well as the nature of the substance of the solvent can also affect. Like non-polar solvents cannot dissolve ionic, let's say ionic compounds or polar solvents. So it cannot. Polar solutes cannot dissolve there. That is one of the things we consider when we do this. Now, solubility is always measured in mole per dm cube or in gram per dm cube. That's why whenever you want to solve the problem, you need to pay attention to this. Whenever you want to solve any problem that has to do with solubility, you need to pay attention to the unit we use in measuring. I said in mole or in grams per dm cube, mole per dm cube or grams per dm cube. So now we're going to be looking at some questions that can help us really understand what we are talking about. There are some questions, I have some questions that we're going to be working out. You said that 40 grams, if 40 grams of lead triisonitrate 5 dissolve in 80 cm cube of water at 20 degrees Celsius. Now this is the temperature of the dissolution. So when we are dissolving, we dissolve at this temperature. Now we say that what will be the solubility at this temperature? Remember, the solubility varies with what change in temperature. So now we have it to be at this particular temperature. What will be the solubility? So what we do here is the first thing we do here. Remember, this is in cm cube, and we're looking at it in dm cube, or a mole per dm cube. That is what they want us to find out. So we have a gram of this. So what it simply means, 80 cm cube saturates what? 40 grams. 40 grams saturated at 80 cm cube. Now, what do we have in 1000 cm cube? Why are we using 1000 now? We are looking at 1000 because 1000 is the same thing as, is equal to what? 1 dm cube. So what we have here will be 40 all over what? 80 times 1000 over 1. So when we cancel out, I think I will use calculator. To finish it up. So we have 40 times 100 divided by 8. That will have 500 grams. This is what we dissolve, saturates 1000 cm cube. So because we have this gram, that is the next thing we are doing, because the question is now asking us to get it in gram per dm cube. Because we need this in 1 mole per dm cube. What we do now, we convert this to what? Gram per dm, mole per dm cube. Now convert it to moles. To convert to moles, we know that mole is equal to mass over mm, that is molar mass. 500 is a mass over molar mass, which is what? 331. So when we divide that, what do we get? 500 divided by 331. We have 1.51 mole per dm cube. Now, there's another method we can still use to make it, assuming you're writing a very fast exam or something like JAMB exam. That's one of the ways you can make this thing faster for you. The first thing you do, convert this to 1 dm cube. Convert 80 to dm cube because it's 1000. Remember, When we cancel out, this will cancel out. The next thing will be what? 0.08 dm cube. That is what we have. So the next thing we do here again, that's 40 divided, get it in moles. That's the amount, because we are looking for what? Moles here. So what we do, 40 divided by 33 will give us something like this. Let me confirm it, please, before I use my pencil. Let me confirm it. Will give us 0.121. Let's leave it here, moles. So that's what we have. Now, because we are looking for amount, now in dm cube, just like where we have this, we can just use this because it's relatively the same because of concentration. Concentration in mole per dm cube. So we are looking at concentration now, the amount in mole that is contained in this very solution we're looking at. So now the amount is this, and the volume is this. Now this volume is dm cube. What we have, divide by 0.08. So you can see that this one will be a bit fast. Divide by 0.08. What do we have? We still have the same thing. You can see that. So this is one of the fastest ways. We don't really need much statement here. We have mole per dm cube. So that's the final answer for this. You can choose the one that you think is faster for you. Remember, convert the volume given to you to dm cube. If it's in grams, just like the one we're going to be solving next, if it's in grams, remember, in grams, we talk about 1,000 grams is equal to what? Equal to 1 kilogram. So that is what we normally use when we're doing that. So let's see how far we can go with this. The next one we have here, to calculate the solubility of 60 grams of copper tetrasulfate 6 dissolved in 300 grams of water at 100 degrees Celsius. So what are we doing here now? In the same way, we look at it. We have, it means that the water is what? Grams. 60 grams of what? Copper. Remember our temperature. But then remember, it just telling us when this thing is happening, because we know that change in temperature affects solubility. It's either increase it or decrease it, depending on as the case may be. So here now, what will 1,000 grams of water do? So what do we do here? We have it to be 60 over 1. This one go, this one will go there. This one here we have to this multiply. Okay, 20 multiply, we have what? 200 grams. That's the mass of copper sulfate that will dissolve 1,000 grams of water. So we have it. Since we have this thing, the next thing we are going to do is to get it in what? In mole per dm cube, because solubility now we're talking about mole per dm cube. So we're going to get it in mole per dm cube. So what do we do? Get the molar mass of copper sulfate. Molar mass of copper sulfate. We know that copper is, from here we have 64 plus sulfur, which is 32, plus this other one, 4 times 16 will give us 60. Is it 64? 16 times 4. Okay, 64. So we add up. By adding up, let's see. Plus. So we have 160. 160. So to get the solubility now, what do we do? 200 divided by 160. So that will give us 200 divided by 160. We have solubility on this mole per dm cube, right? Mole per dm cube, or that's mole per dm cube. That's what it's supposed to be, or perhaps we call it because we're looking at the grams. Yeah, I think that's what's supposed to be. So this is where we are going to be stopping it for this today. And thank you so much for being part of the class. And then in our next class, we'll be looking at other interesting topics. But just remember to subscribe if you're joining for the first time, and then share and like. Please leave any question there in the comment section. If there's anything you think you need to be clarified, just leave it in the comment section. We'll always attend to you.